Hey gals and guys, it's your host, Phil Larson, and this is your motivational high five on perseverance. Let's do this. Welcome to the short motivational show where we have 5 minutes to try to get some motivation. This show works great at the beginning of a day, about once per day, because the idea of doing it once per day is giving us a mantra at the end that we can repeat to really rewire our brains as supported by science. But in order to get there, we hash out something about life, something that we all have to deal with, or something that we could train ourselves to do better. And today is perseverance. Perseverance plays the long game. The perseverant person does not get distracted by the short-term pleasures of the immediate life around you, but their focus is on the long-term goal in which you have to suspend those short-term pleasures to get to. Imagine with me, if you will, a scenario in which I'm about to explain to you. And if you're vegetarian or vegan, I'm sorry, try to figure out an application to your life that this relates to. But you wake up and you want steak. You want just a juicy, good steak. And so you plan that you're going to go to a nice steakhouse for dinner and partake in that. But the plans for the day was to go to a fair. And if you know anything about fair food, it feels like everything is fried. And not only that, there's cotton candy. And you never want cotton candy until you see it. And so you see cotton candy throughout the day and you go, I could have that cotton candy. It looks so fluffy and delicious, and I want cotton candy right now. But you remind yourself of the bigger goal of steak. Because you know, and I have experiences when I've given in to cotton candy, and I never feel good afterwards. I always feel like, the sugar high and then crash, and my stomach doesn't feel well. Perseverance is putting aside and suspending the short-term pleasures for the long-term goal, the better thing, the thing that you actually want when you remind yourself of who you are. You want steak. And it applies especially to relationships. Perseverance in relationship over time, when looked back on, is seen as loyalty. And loyalty is this highest of virtue. If someone's been in a marriage for decades, they're going to mention that in a speaking opportunity. And what usually happens, as you guys have seen probably, is that the whole place applauds. It's a high virtue that deep inside us, we all want to attain. And unfortunately, sometimes that's not possible if one person in the marriage is already checked out, even though the other one wants to be in it. But the truth is that desire to persevere in relationship, that is a good desire if you have that inside of you. And it's something that you should reach for. In the way of your dreams and your goals, perseverance continually asks the question, who do I want to be? And through that lens, the perseverant person sees life. The perseverant person finds a career as opposed to gets a job. The perseverant person, in the face of uncertainty, says, I'm going to still do what I set out to do. If you know anything about the German friar, Martin Luther, you know that he was a perseverant person and dealt with a lot of uncertainty. And this is one of his quotes. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would still plant my apple tree. And what a great image of someone who knows who they are, and in the face of difficulties, continued to look through the lens of who they wanted to be, kept their eyes on the goal, and attained the life they set out to live. Guys, don't get caught up in the distractions around you. Remember who you are and who you want to be, and persevere. At the end of our podcast, we set out to tell ourselves some positive stories that combat the negative wirings we've chosen to believe over the years. And the beautiful thing is that this is supported by science. And this I explain a little more in episode 1. And if you've been with me, you know how this is done. We at some point today, or right now if you have the time, choose to look at ourselves in a reflection. That reflection that sometimes we don't want to see. But today we make a choice to stare at it for a second and speak life into it, which is speaking life into ourselves. And this mantra is something that I hope you guys maybe repeat throughout the day if you find it's especially helpful where you are in your life right now. And today's mantra that I hope you do tell yourself is this: I want to achieve my future me by persevering in the present. Again, it's about suspending the short-term pleasures for the long-term goal. And the long-term goal may be a lofty one, but it's a worthy one. It's the one people remember after you're gone. It's the one that leaves a legacy. And you can do it, and it starts with you.